All right, so let's discuss that how founders burn money on the ads. So this would be totally raw video because I'll be sharing my thoughts that and my experience that how fashion founders are burning money on the ads, and then they stop doing the ads, they stop getting the sales, they try various methods like influencer marketing, and uh, those things do not work because in influencer marketing you just give a product to an influencer, the influencer posts that product, and you'll get sales for some time, but after some time, like even if the celebrity founder is posting that product, you've stopped getting sales at one point of time. So basically what founders do is they hire an agency, they hire some freelancers, right? And these days what's happening is that a person starts learning some ads, some meta ads or some Google ads, and then they start calling themselves a marketer or an advertiser. I mean, that's the stupidest thing that a person can do, right? They don't know the things that go inside building a proper campaign. Because when we hire the employees for our agencies or we hire the partners for our agencies, we see that people do not know anything about the ads and they already have some clients. So the first thing is that most of the fashion founders do not track their decisions on the ads. They just keep on tracking the numbers. They just see how much did they spend on the ads and what was their revenue, what was their ROS. Suppose you make a campaign or you have a certain product or you're testing some creative, right? So what they do is, and if suppose the testing failed, suppose the testing on a creative failed and or testing on an audience failed, or suppose for the messaging of a particular ad failed, they do not have any track sheet for this, like they where they can put, like, you tested this and this particular thing failed, so that you do not make the same mistake again. What they do is, even after a month, they start testing the same particular thing again, and they again lose the money. They do not get the ROAS. And so basically the thing is, they keep on tracking the numbers. They do not track the decisions. They do not track what creatives have they tested. They do not track what audiences they have tested. And same is with the agencies, same is with the freelancers they onboard. These guys are not tracking their decisions. They do not have proper track sheets. They just have track sheet of revenues and ROAS and everything. So, and that's the point where they start failing. Okay, the second thing is that people think that ads are failing for them, or meta ads are failing for them, Google ads are failing for them. But actually, the whole system is failing. So, I'll give you an example. I'll not take the names, by the way. So, we have one particular client. When he started with us, he was getting amazing orders. And we got to know like these two are their best sellers. And after a month, their best sellers got out of stock. I mean, these guys were getting a ROAS of 3x in the first month of starting their business. Just imagine, guys, like after 3 months, what their ROAS could have been and what their revenues could have been. And these guys were profitable at 2x. So after 1 month, they got out of stock with their three of their best sellers, and they had to sell the rest of the products. So in e-commerce, you need to have your best sellers back in stock within 7 or 8 days, or you should be tracking your best sellers. Like suppose if your best sellers are going, if you know, if suppose the replenishment period of your best sellers is suppose 15 days, you should know 20 days beforehand that these are bestsellers and these are getting out of stock. So you need to place another order for your bestsellers. So these guys, they thought that their replenishment period is 15 days and their bestsellers got out of stock, and these guys placed an order. And honestly, it's been like 3 or 4 months. Their bestsellers are still not in stock. And now these guys are just getting 1.8 or 2.5x, like between that ROAS. So I mean, your bestsellers should always be in stock. I mean, that's where system fails, right? You should know beforehand everything. Or where does the system fail? The second place is your cash machine. your money cycle. You should have a proper number of prepaid orders so that you can get enough money in the bank account to put it into the ads. You should be tracking your finances. I mean, if suppose you're a fashion designer and you're starting a brand, you need to learn how to manage your finances for sure, because you'll be taking the stupid decisions of hiring the wrong people, and then you'll be out of finances, and then you might have to close your brand. So your finances should be in place. All right. So another thing is where people fail is, suppose you have a t-shirt brand, right? Suppose, like, of course, you can generate good number of sales in summers. That's good. But when winters are coming, you need to have something for the winters too, because of course in India you can start doing your ads in the south, but still for winters you need to have something in stock, right? Because you want to increase your sales. And then you need to have a proper offer system. You need to have proper customer loyalty system. You need to have proper uh various methods to get the repeat purchases. And third thing is that most of the agencies, most of the fashion founders, and most of the freelancers, they do not have a proper testing structure in place. And when they do not have a testing structure, they launch one campaign. That campaign does not work. They spend more money on the second campaign, and then that campaign doesn't work. You're wasting your time, you're wasting your resources. And then after a spend of suppose $1,000, $2,000, you are left with nothing. So you always need to have a proper testing structure in place where you can test your brand positioning, you can test your products, and you can get the best sellers, right? You can test your creatives. You should be knowing what creatives to make, what kind of hooks to work, and the messaging, the audiences. You can test all of these things at one single time so that you can save money, you can save the ad spend. And I mean, that's where most of the people fail, right? They do not have a proper testing structure in place. What they do is they get combination of around 1x ROAS or like 2x ROAS, and then they keep on scaling that. But suppose if you can make proper combinations, you can run around 64 to 128 iterations at one single time. And honestly, you'll get at least 10 combinations that are getting you a ROAS of about 4x, right? So if you have proper testing structure, you will not lose any money. So yeah, these are three places where most of the fashion founders or most of the founders, D2C brand founders, even the food and beverage founders, electronic brand founders lose money. So just take care of these three basic things.